1. Hello! Today we will continue to explore how to fill our keyboard with as much animation and bring our character to life as much as possible, and this includes having expressions that are both positive like that and some over more negative. And this is not limited to the mouse. We will add eyebrows and animations as well, because for example, when it comes to being able to flip between arms, this is all straightforward. This is either the direct arms or flipped arms based on whatever we are doing with them at the moment, and the flipped arms are the ones that are looking inside, and the normal arms that are default ones when we are in a rigging position of just standing like that. And we can flip between them, or we can even bend like that, but then the big finger is not in the desired position, so we will gonna avoid that, and we will set up the elbows at the end to behave appropriately with all the set of arms. One of the things that we are already covered is when arms go behind the head, it's fine, but sometimes we want to attempt to close eyes or scratch the nose or whatever. For that reason, we have another set of arms that is on top of the head, and I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. So far, I did not find good way to bypass it. And another thing that we will do, which we will actually be concentrated on today, when we are moving our head left and right, this adds quite a bit of depth, especially in combination with some parallax. But what we are missing here is also the movement of the body, not only to the left right, but more to the depths. And with basic head turns, we cannot really achieve that. For that reason, I propose to adjust the way head turn behavior works, and instead of putting it on the hand, rig the whole body with a head turn, so you can see 3/4 left and right, and the front are full bodies as opposed to just head. And what that allows us to do when we are flipping between that, we will be also working on adjusting the body, but body will not move as fast as head, so it will not be all parallel like when we do the turnaround, when everything moves together. Head will be moving more than the body, and the shoulder movement will be somewhat, which will allow us to go ahead and have this turn. It will also allow us to react with hands better as we are turning, and do something more interesting with legs as well. And in case we want to really control it, we can decrease sensitivity and see what we can do with drastic adjustments when we are playing with it. And up and down also will be used differently, because I want to be able for Bunny to jump or hide and maybe control it with my head too. And we will see if we can add separate behavior and control sensitivity to achieve that. But the real basics for my rigging that is different from the regular one is in the head turn behavior and the fact that I'm using the whole body. The trade-off is that it takes a big toll on your computer, but beefing up CPU seems to handle it, although it's choking at times. At least for this 2/3 all full body, I think it should be fine so far. I did not see any significant hits. I just put the same body because I wanted to check if it's even gonna work or is it just gonna die immediately, because as we keep changing the orientation of the body, it will be same number of parts, so it will be essentially the same mesh. As we keep working, I know the performance will not continue to degrade because all pieces are there. And as we are getting into all the characters, we see inside each of the turns we have head and body, which are not independent, otherwise they move against each other. Very important to align the dots correctly, otherwise your head will not move as desired. Ears are independent because I want them to have their own physics, and I want them to... I want them to have their own physics, and I want them to dangle. Eyebrows. Eyebrows will be actually combined in swap sets for left and right, because I have the number of different eyebrows that will be expressing different emotions. You can imagine like one of them more sharp to be mad, one is more squiggly to be confused. They're all developed in Flash. I found that I originally wanted to put the dots towards the center of the face, but I found out that it's much better if we are moving them to the middle, because as we keep adjusting the behavior and making sure that this guy does not intersect with ears, things like that, just way easier if the dot is in the middle. It works better. Mouse, this is just not correct at the moment because there's only one mouse in here, which is placeholder, and should be happy said, and it will be neutral. Nose. Nose is not tucked as a nose. Whiskers fixed to the body, independent. Because they're independent, they need to be fixed to the body, otherwise they're just gonna be flying. Fixed at this point, and the angle goes all the way to the end. And they also, well, not this one because I forgot, but if we are opening this whiskers, we can see that we also have the separate physics. All the whiskers gonna have to have their own physics because we want them to be separate from the ears. Main physics is gonna affect the ears, and the gravity is gonna push the ears down, simulating the fact that Bunny is more sad or tired. Whiskers do not require any rigging. Other than that, jaw just marked as a jaw. Over the head in this case, because head is a pivot point over here. Attached to the neck, very important. I don't find like the jaw is the whole this part for the bunny, and because it's so huge, I did not find any difference of just moving it around. Left eye, important part is independent pupil, and we did not have any proper blinks or anything like that. Eyes, as we can see, the idea of the head is the same replication, but now we also have the body that will be turning as well. Right now it's just a placeholder rigging, and the placeholder rigging is also outlining the issue that we are facing, and issue is the arms. We will need to find out these transitional positions that will work between regular and flipped arms. I guess it will be fine if I guess it will be fine if we just plan in our character in some pose, and we're planning the tradition pose. So we set up all the dragger points in all rotations before we start, and after that we just navigate our character with the finger, just changing heads and all that. And I think this will allow us to do a lot of live performances that gonna be in the vicinity that makes sense, and it will simplify also the production workflow in the future. So we will keep committing to that. Nothing is really too weird other than that the legs are fixed to the ground for everybody, because I wanna really go through every single body separate. The bunny itself is getting adjusted. Before it did not have the shoulder parts, which made the fitting of the arms very annoying. This way it's much better if we just organize a body like this, but right now I just realized that the dress does not fit anymore. I'll fix that. This part is fine. Yes, but other than that, what that allows us to do at the moment is to run the bunny, turn the head around. And as you can see, at the moment we have like the issue with eyes popping out, etc., which we will need to solve a little bit. Mouse 0, camera strength, probably something like 40%. Let's see what that does. Yep. Nope. Even less. Getting hard to find over there. Found it easier to work here at some point. 25. Yeah, I think I like it better. Very minimal eye movements when it comes to the turn head. And the really thing that I don't like is you can see that the right arm is going up and down, and this is because the default position for that pose is this, as opposed to that default position. And we can re exactly that. Basically, if we say that this is our default position, then this is fine, right? And the idea is to have these default positions that can be triggered by the keyboard. And right now we just armed left and right, but the transition between looking left and right is actually fairly smooth, so this is fine. We just need to find our key poses that are gonna work, and because we are able to work with all those different bodies, I mean FPS is barely 20, but there is a lot of things running at the moment, including streams and OBS and recording and voice processing and Audition and Character Animator, and I accidentally forgot to close my remote access app, so this was also running, and Illustrator is open. So there is really a lot of things to be considered, and I don't really have the uber expensive massive rig. I mean, it's expensive, but not uber expensive, not top of the line even. So I think it's a very viable strategy to go with a character like that. And one of the things that we will keep developing is triggers that will be same for all these rotations. So for example, out here we have scratching the head animation, the type land, just in order to say what's going on, what to do. Yes, make a decision, right? We can make it different when it comes to how long it takes to go over, and additionally we can synchronize it for this ear and this ear, because we can see it's essentially the different guys, because they will need to sit on a different part of the head. They need to be a little bit smooshed as opposed to this one. This one is wider because as the body moves the head, they are pointing kind of back a little bit. And yes, and we can have the same drag over here, and we can animate it at the same speed as this one. And this will not happen as she will scratch here over here, she'll scratch over here as well. So we can have these turns at any point of time. But this will require us to record this and record that and make it as a replay and put it on the same MIDI button. So not too bad. Can definitely go through that, and let's see how far we can go with this rigging strategy. The more involved thing is really the hands at the moment, because it's a lot of them. It's a direct, it's a flipped ones, it's a top ones, it's a bottom ones. But this allows us to have much needed expression over there. And what is missing for me is to utilizing it leave, because if we want to use the character, we need to have the character animator open, and this means that we cannot have another program open to have like a narrative or play the game, like when the character is just out there talking about stuff. Not quite sure how to address all of that, but we will continue tackling things one at a time, and let's see where the arm management is gonna get us. For now, I kind of want to reach out to Adobe and just to make sure that I'm not missing something when it comes to the layers, and see if they can recommend something to bypass some of the issues with head management specifically, because it feels like something is supposed to be out there. I cannot be the only one who has this problem. Other than that, I think we're getting there. Bunny starts to look crazy cute. So check it out. Alright, cheers guys.